Hi everybody, this is Pastor Daniel.
And Zora Ruin.
And we're going to read you a great book called Zora, Hurston, and the Chinaberry Tree. And this is a book close to my heart because it's about Zora Neale Hurston, who is the namesake of...
your daughter.
My daughter, Zora. That we named Zora after Zora Neale Hurston. So let's open this book up. Zora and I are going to read it to you. Here we go.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Zora Hurston and the Chinaberry Tree.
This is written by William Miller, illustrated by Cornelius Van Wright and Ying Hua Hu. And it's dedicated to
Charles, Gina, teacher and friend. In memory of our sister Linda, may your children always jump at the sun.
Jumping at the sun, that's a famous thing about Zora Neale Hurston. Her mom always told her that. Okay, why don't you start,
All right.
Zora?
Zora Hurston loved the Chinaberry tree. Her mother taught her to climb it, one branch at a time.
From the tree, she could see as far as the lake, as far as the horizon. Zora dreamed of fishing in the lake, catching bream and catfish in the moonlight. Zora dreamed of seeing cities beyond the horizon, of living there one day.
But only boys fished in the lake. Only men traveled to the cities. Zora watched with envy as the wagons rattled down the dusty roads.
Her father told her to wear a dress, to leave tree climbing to wild boys who had no better way to spend their time. He told her to read the Bible every day, learn verses she could recite in Sunday school. He warned her about girls who didn't obey their fathers, girls who didn't grow up to be young ladies.
But Zora only listened to her mother. She taught Zora that everything had a voice. The trees and rushing wind, the stars in the midnight sky. She taught Zora that the world belonged to her, even the lake and far-off horizon.
So, Zora went everywhere. She walked into the town store and watched while the men played checkers. She asked questions and more questions until the men taught her how to play.
She followed boys to the edge of campfires, listened while their fathers sang about John Henry, a man so strong he swung a 9-pound hammer from dawn till dusk. She learned about Death, the great square-toed one who lived in the west. Death sat on a platform made of palm leaves and ruled with a sword in his hands. Zora learned about Africa, the place where she and her people came from. In Africa, they had been kings and queens, builders of cities that stood for thousands of years. They worshipped gods who ruled the sky, the mountains, and the rivers, the stormy sea.
One morning, Zora's mother didn't feel well. She told Zora not to worry, that soon she'd be well again. She told Zora to go outside and play, to climb her favorite tree, but Zora couldn't play. She saw how tired her mother was. She saw the pain in her eyes. Day after day, Zora sat beside her mother's bed, telling her the stories she had heard beside the campfires. Her mother smiled and asked Zora to always remember what she had learned. Stories, she said, kept their people alive. As long as they were told, Africa would live in their hearts. Zora promised to remember.
Zora's mother slowly got worse. Men and women came to sit up with her through the long, hot nights. The town doctor came. He gave her pills and shook his head, walked sadly away. Even the root doctor tried his magic. He rubbed snake oil and mustard salve on her face. He burned a tall white candle beside her bed, but nothing worked. Zora was sitting in the parlor when her father told her she would not see her mother again.
Zora felt as if she had died. She watched while the old people stopped the clocks and put sheets on the mirror. She watched while the women cried and the men stared at their Sunday shoes. But then she could sit still no more.
Zora ran from the house. ran all the way to the Chinaberry tree. She climbed the first branch and the next, climbed almost to the top. A sparrow sang to her in a voice like her mother's. The sparrow told her not to give up, to climb even higher.
From the top of the tree, Zora saw again the world her mother had given her. The lake filled with fish, the cities where she would tell people all she had learned beside the campfires. Zora promised her mother that she would never stop climbing. She would always reach for the newborn sky, always jump at the morning sun. Here's a great author's note. Go ahead, Zora.
Okay. Zora Hurston was born in 1891. She grew up in Eatonville, Florida, the first all-black incorporated town in America. At an early age, she was exposed to the rich oral tradition of her community, stories, songs, and folk tales that celebrated African American life. Zora attended Howard University and Barnard College, where she studied anthropology. She traveled throughout the South, recording the folk tales of her people. She published these stories in a collection called Mules and Men. Zora was also the author of many works of fiction. Her most famous novel, Their Eyes Were Watching God, is a classic of African American literature. Yay.
The stories live on through
Yes, they do.
Zora and the Chinaberry tree. So thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll see you again for another story.
Yep.
Have a good day. Bye.
Bye. Hi.
Hi everybody. It's me, Pastor Daniel, and
Zora.
we're gonna read a. See, where did it go?
Where did what go?
The flip thing.
You can't turn it around once it's already recorded.
Oh, I have to flip it back.
You can't flip it back.
Hi, wait. Hi.
Hi.
It's me, Pastor Daniel,
And me, Zora Ruin.
and we're gonna read you a story. Grace kids and any other kids. We're gonna read.
Zora Hurston.
Wait, why is it flipped around again?
Wait. And then flip it.
Okay,
Flip
here we
your
go.
hand.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
It's me, Pastor Daniel, and this is
Start
our
over.
our third take. Well, no, it's we can just edit it. I'll just edit it.
Okay.
So whenever we're ready.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everybody. It's me, Pastor Daniel,
And me, Zora.
and we're gonna read one of our favorite books. Well, actually, I think it's actually not one of our favorite books.
The quarantine is getting to us.
Okay, let's try it again. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right. All right, do it for the kids.
Okay, we'll do it for the kids.
Okay. Let me make sure we're still going.
It's long.
Okay. Hi, everybody. It's me, Pastor Daniel. This is Zora, my daughter. And we're going to attempt to make our way through a really great children's book called Zora, Hurston, and the Chinaberry Tree. Right?
It worked.
What worked? Oh, no, I know. This is what I meant to happen.
Oh,
Okay.
We'll do it.
Let's try it again.